Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here. Hope you're ready for another interesting day of learning and growing and awareness. All right. Now, I know you have been listening to lots of things, read a lot of things, accept a lot of things as well. Where's my chat room? Hold on. What happened to my comments? All right. So we're going to talk about love and God. I'm sure you know it all about both. But then again, this could be an important call. Just give me one split second. Hello? Hello? Yes. Sorry about that. All right. I'm expecting a really important phone call. Sorry. But I was hoping that was it. All right. Let's start with a simple word, love. We all think we know what it is, don't we? But where do you start when you talk about love? Where's the beginning? How much do you really know about it? Well, I'm going to go through a lot of words and numbers based on what you perceive, understand, and think you know. I'm going to start with the word that I despise and really disagree with at every level. It's called the word unconditional love. I was going to say unconstitutional love. Unconditional love. What does it mean to you? And do you believe that? You really think you can send unconditional love to the world, to people around the world, to animals around the world, to anything around the world? Can you send unconditional love to your children, to things around your neighborhood, people? People believe they send it out makes them spiritual. I ask many people, what makes them spiritual? Why do they think they're spiritual? And they come up with unconditional love. Is the reason why they're spiritual? Sending love to the planet, sending the world to the universe. Do you think it changes anything? And do you truly believe it really helps? All right. Most people will say yes and believe their programmed ideas about it. Prayers have been around for such a long time. How much does prayer really help the human race or help a person? When something happens good, oh, I prayed for it and it happened. What if you don't pray for it and it happens? Is it good? But if you pray really hard and it doesn't happen, is it still important to pray for it? Well, mankind has been programmed at every level with that word. And you'll hear most people use it and say it. I'm telling you, it truly doesn't help anything. Sure, it makes you feel good, makes you feel like you're doing something or trying to help. Somebody's in the hospital dying of cancer. Well, I'm going to send them love. Really? Does it help them? Well, everybody else says, thank you for your love because they get healed. Well, was it the people saying the prayers that healed them? Or was it just the doctors, medicine, and everything they were doing? You know, we kind of twist whatever happens in our life to make it fit what we believe in. All right, it's easy to believe in anything. It's much harder to really prove that something's really helping in any which way. I mean, I prove certain things to myself, and it depends what level you are in awareness. What are you aware of? Which is the second word of today's talk and workshop. So think about this. When you pray, what, who, where, and what kind of things are you praying to? God, angels, to spirit, to the universe? Well, think about that. Think what that really means to you. All right. I know people don't want to hear the truth. They never do. They'd rather sit in their programmed ideas and believe that it's really important. Well, Ask the people that you might think are spiritual, what makes them spiritual? What do they do? What actual actions do they take to prove that they're spiritual, even to themselves? See what kind of answers you get. I'm telling you, you're not going to get much. You're not going to get much at all. I don't know. Let me see if this light helps at all. Might be a little more easy on your eyes. But again, all right. Let me just bring it there. All right. We believe. A belief is accepting an idea that's not proven and that you can't even prove to yourself. And that's what you call a belief in something. What is that something? God. All right, we'll get into that. But I want to go over the words about love first. Okay, second word I'm going to use is family love. What does that mean? Obviously, you love your mother, your father, your brother, sisters, whatever you have in your family, and they supposedly love you. To what degree? To what level? How far are you willing to go with that love? Well, everybody has different levels of acceptance and abilities to deal with it. Some people can't deal with it at all. When relationships crash because of a family problem, the mother, the father, the child, somebody's not willing to give enough or accept enough. But they believe they have to love each other. Believe they have to love each other. Why? If there's a situation in your family with abuse and things like that, you're supposed to still love them? Forgive them? Well, religions preach the idea of forgiveness, but where do you draw the line between forgiveness and changing the situation? Somebody's abusing you, just keep forgiving them? I would say this to the average woman: if you experience a hard physical abuse, don't expect it to go away. If a person's able to do that the first time, they're able to do it the second time, third time, and every other time after that. Now, people go, oh no, he was drunk. Oh, that's an excuse? He's ever going to get drunk again? Oh, he was on drugs. Oh, that's an excuse? Or he's a mean person. Is that an excuse? Well, you don't need it in your life, and you should definitely remove yourself from the situation because it's not going to get better. Now, I'm going to tell you something that most people won't accept or believe. People do not change, ever. They can hide from their own truth for a period of time, but sooner or later they'll be themselves again. I can go into stories about that, but not right now. I don't think it's going to help the idea of love any better. But when you say, I love my family, well, what are you going to say? I hate my family? I do. I did. But I have reasons. And if you have reasons for something like that, you don't have to cover them and hide them, because if you stay in abuse, you'll only end up with more abuse. It doesn't go away. Abuse is one of the most horrible things that exists in the United States and the world. And government and court systems do not really help it much. Basically forcing I don't want to use the words, but when a bad father gets back in a relationship and abuse the children, abuse the wife, or anything else even worse than that, it's a situation you have to remove yourself from. So the word I love them and forgiveness, it doesn't work. It doesn't change the reality. A person usually stays what they are all their life. That's why they're here, going through that. If they don't learn how to become an aware being, which they truly usually never do, will reincarnate back in a similar situation or worse. Things don't get better until you start moving forward in an aware state, increasing your awareness. People, I'm talking from inner awareness, outer awareness of all levels that I have experienced, and I have experienced much. All right, when I use the word reverend, I'm not saying that I'm like every other reverend out there, because I'm not. I don't know how many reverends out there know about aliens, know about Bigfoot, know about creatures and demons and all that. in any really aware state. They usually don't. So the word family love is accepted and forced upon you. You tell other people, I don't love my family. Oh, you're bad, you're rotten, you're a bad person. Well, do you want to hear all the aspects of abuse? Why you should still love them and forgive them? You know, the Bible has a lot to do with creating the ideas that most people accept, especially about the word forgiveness. You think the Native people forgive the white people? Should they? The Lakota people should forgive the white people for killing them all? The Native people were killed out in such a large number. I'm talking 50 million Native people, and there's less than 3/4 of 1 million left on this planet. That means true Native blood, all right? Full bloods. But again, mankind accepts the Constitution, which goes against the Native people. It was created by the Native, parts of it were created by the Native people, taken from the Native people, and then used against them. Tell me where you, when I talk about things, where you see love really existing. When they created the Constitution, it was against Native people, it was against Black people, and you consider that important or right? You know, the Constitution was created for rich people only, people that own property, not poor people. So you really need to fine tune what you believe, what you accept, especially when it comes to these kind of words about love and unconditional love. Native people should love the white race unconditionally, accept what they do to them. See, there's a fine line how far you can go before you cross it or before you should cross it. But you should never keep yourself in harm's way. If you're trying to become an aware person, it doesn't work. Hold on one second. My little guy wants to come in. He usually stays by my feet and listens. Greetings, Mr. Gizmo. All right, so if you could take notes, it might help you somewhere along the line. But that's okay. You know, people have a hard time doing physical things like writing notes and things. What good's that? Because people don't remember much. When you listen to a talk, you're lucky you remember 10 minutes of an hour or 2 hours. So there could be a lot more you can remember, and that could help you if you actually wrote a few notes down. But then again, if you really don't care, it really doesn't matter. So you really don't even need to listen, do you? All right. The next word I'm going to just get into shortly is animal love. We love animals. All right. We love animals in the wild. Then we take it a little deeper and we love our pets, whatever creature or animal you have as a pet. Dogs are probably one of the most forgiving creatures on the planet, and they'll accept love as well as they give it. And that's the only time you can use the word unconditional. They don't have conditions to love you. They'll always love you. Even if you beat them, you do things to them, they'll forget it and still love you. All right. They'll give themselves over. They'll give their life for you even. How many people will do that for somebody else? So that kind of love is incredibly different than the average family love, because most family loves and friendship loves all change due to the conditions, money, situations. But again, it doesn't help making you more spiritually aware. A dog, when you take it for a walk, when you do things with it, it stays close to you. And all it thinks about is you. It's not thinking about everything else outside of itself. Sure, a dog comes by. Doctors and people try to say that dogs will respect other dogs more than they'll respect their family. what their own is, which is a lie. That's totally an incredible lie, which came out maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago by some doctors saying that dogs really love animals outside of their family much more than they do their family. That's not true. I mean, they like to play with a ball, so they love the ball more than they love you. People take things and mold it into whatever they want it to be. And usually it's nothing more beneficial for them. All right. Now, I mean, that's animal love. When you talk about like lizards and snakes and frogs and turtles, how much do they love you? How much do they care about you? How much can they do for you or take from you, really? Feed them, and that's what most creatures want, is just food. Now, let's talk about a little bit less animated things. Trees, ocean, mountains, deserts, plants, and things like that. How much love do you think they give you? How much love do you think they can accept? Oh, you're here, talk to your plants. And I'm not saying it doesn't work. We create energy when we talk, and it could affect them. But does a plant receive that as love? Does a plant really understand what love is? Sure, I study with many medicine people and things like that, and they'll tell you, oh, a tree talks to you and things. What can they talk to you about? Earth? The evolution of the planet? What happens to a tree when a storm comes, a tornado comes, an earthquake comes? Outside of that, how much can they talk to you about love? Since love is considered the most important thing on the planet by most people, ask them what's the most important thing. They'll say love. And then they'll throw the next answer will probably be peace. All right. They both go together. But then again, peace will never happen on this planet. And total love will never happen either. And we're so far away from it right now. So if you say you love a rock, what do you think the rock does when you send a rock love? Grows and becomes spiritually aware? Mankind has this program going on in their brain that all things communicate. To what? For what? What reason? I'm going to get, if you stick around, if you can, we're going to be talking about something so new, so outrageous, it'll probably blow your mind. If you're willing to stick around and listen, probably won't be able to. But okay. I'm going through these words pretty fast. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you, the most important word that exists in this reality is God. Whether you believe there's a God or not, it doesn't matter. I think God cares whether you believe in it or not. But you are somewhere. You're in hell. And you will stay there for a long period of time until you learn and accept the truth. And there is a truth. There's always a truth, people. Whether you want to find it, hear it or not is a different story. The truth is, people, no matter what religion they're in, no matter what path they follow, have almost zero actual experience or understanding of God. The only experience that they know is what was written and told to them. Oh, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not going to try to change what people believe about Jesus, but Jesus never said he was God. But getting back to the point of God itself in all religions. Well, God protects us. God loves us. God loves you. Why? What proof do you have? They were born and you're alive? Outside of that, what do you have? Well, I was sick and I got cured. You're going to get sick and cured usually unless it's a really serious problem and the medicine can't help or doctors can't help or the vitamins can't help. You're so programmed with all the things that go on inside you, you really can't find the truth. I tell this to everybody, always, on a piece of paper. What you think God is, write it down. Write 2 columns, God is and God isn't. I'll bet you can't write anything God isn't, and you'll write a lot of things that God is. And you can't say God is all things. God is not. God is not your anger. God is not your hate. God is not the bad things you do. God granted you freedom. Not the freedom that the Constitution gave us, but freedom. Freedom to breathe and travel and move and do things. But we control that, or it's being controlled more and more every day by government, by chemistry, scientists, and you name it. But okay, when we talk about that, it, not God, it is, all right? It's not a human being. It doesn't look like a person, which again, who wrote the idea that it does? Moses? You believe the idea that what Moses said, Moses was supposed to be a spiritual being? Well, I call him the greatest black magician to ever live. And I'll go into detail and prove it. The Bible proves it alone. Read the Bible. Read the things Moses did. You might not catch him when Moses came off the mountain, how many people he had killed. You won't catch why he walked around in circles in the desert, why he really didn't know. What was he really going to do with these people? Bring them to where? A so-called promised land. People believed in the promised land. People believed that it was the right place to bring these people. Sadly, there were people living in the promised land. And when the new people came in, which the people Moses brought, all the children of the families that he brought there, killed everybody that was there to take it over. Do you call that a spiritual foundation of a growth of a religion or a path? Pretty pathetic if you do believe that, and it's accepted completely in the Bible. So, people want to believe things so bad. They don't care what it is. Believe they love everybody, they love everything, they forgive everybody. Forgiveness, you can say you forgive somebody. Truthfully, only thing that can forgive something is God. You murder somebody, the family says they forgive you? Really? Maybe God doesn't. God really doesn't. Whether you want to believe it does or not, well, I did my 20,000 Hail Marys, I did all these things. No. Karma, I talked about last workshop I did. But karma is critical in reality. Everything you do, every action, everything you say and don't say is a part of your karma. It's not your love, it's your truth in your own consciousness. And there is a separation between mind and soul. Mind can't love anything. Mind's a computer program. All right. And it's fed programs, and each program and thought it's given, it accepts. Where soul, what you truly are, has the ability to do many more things. I don't know why. Whenever I do a show, I get so itchy. Sorry about that. But soul is eternal. But then again, if you can't prove it to yourself, what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. Does your love for these things last forever? How long's forever? Well, I'll get into that a little bit. But let me just find, okay. I want to talk about one other word that's becoming super popular right now, the universe. We're one with the universe. Why? Why would you believe that? Why would you want to believe that? Universe can't do anything for your relationships, your thoughts, your energy. It can change the way you live, but it's not the universe. The universe is being controlled, whether you want to believe that or not. It was created the way it is for a specific reason. There's many races out there, and we're going to find out this year more so than ever how many other races are coming here and what they're doing and why. I'll tell you the first thing straight out. It is not about love. We'll get into that later. But the universe, stars, planets, meteorites, comets, does that have anything to do with love? Do you believe that? Do you believe it created you? You believe in the black hole? Why? Because scientists tell you the black hole is real? Did you pop out of a black hole and know it for real? Oh, bang, I was here. Really? Then you don't even know your past lives if you believe that part of it. Reincarnation is critical in growth and awareness. Awareness of past lives is critical, very critical, because it'll help you understand the word karma, why you keep coming back to this world, why you think you're in love in this world, why you think love that you had wasn't more important than the love that you have right now is. Because when you reincarnate into a new family or create a new family. What about the one you had in your past life? Well, you're going to meet your new family in heaven, but what about all your other lives and all your other families? Do you want to meet them in heaven too? What are you going to do? Sit there and have a party with them? No, soul reincarnates usually. And when you get to the soul, well, let's not go there. Let's go to the astral plane. It's not like you just sit there and talk. You got work to do there, just as you do here. Things to do. It's not stagnant, but it's not super awareness growth period because you do not grow greater in its awareness. All right. So here's the thing, people. I don't know if anybody can actually get back to me and say that the volume's there. I won't know until the end of the show. I sure hope the volume's okay. But here's the thing. We live a life that's about 125 years max. And the first 5-10 years is probably the most heaviest programming you're going to get from your parents. And then when you start school, and then when you start getting friends and things like that, all the programming starts escalating. None of it's beneficial. Not even the programming you get from your parents. And I'm telling you the truth. Do they love you? They say they do. If they loved you, they would go out of their way to learn about the truth. The truth is, what should they help you learn? Where should they help guide you and help bring you to what kind of a level? How many parents do that? How many parents, learn about how to protect their children from energy? Even the energy they bring into their own house. I'd say 99.99% do not. Maybe 1% of 1% truly do. Can you name one thing that your mother taught you about protection from spirit, from entities, from demons? All right. I mean, sure, you were told, oh, it's the boogeyman under the bed, or things like that. But, outside of that, what did they teach you? From first year of your life to the 5th year, even 7 and 8. I'm sure they might have made you go to Catholic school, or go to church, go to classes in church and things like that. But what are they going to teach you? Programmed ideas. Programmed idea means it came from somebody somewhere in history that had a thought, had a feeling, had an experience, or thinks he did, or thought he did, and creates a reality from that you're supposed to believe in. Moses talking to God? Moses never talked to God. You might not believe me, but that's up to you to decide. What did he learn from talking to God? The 10 Commandments? That he did not follow any? All right, people, love is a really critical thing in this reality right now. Because most people think it's the answer to everything. People that say they talk to God talk about love. Talking to God is an imaginary idea in 99% of most cases. And then again, if you do, what do you think it says? Love is the answer. Really, it's not. Love is only 2020 years old. Okay, now people will doubt that. And I'll tell you this, it's real simple. Go through history and see when love actually became real. I did. I spent a couple of years trying to figure out how it actually became real, because they always said it was here forever. No, it wasn't. God loved us so we were here. But do people understand what that actually means? I doubt it. All right. The idea of Adam and Eve. Well, we all came from Adam and Eve. No, it's another story. But then again, be created by dust and things like that, and man was created, and then woman was created out of it? Really? You believe that? And then in the UFO world, they want you to believe the Anunnaki created us, another fantasy that they created. Stories that we get are created by people. All right, I don't know why my thing keeps shifting here. Oh, man, my head's crooked. All right, now, are you understanding anything I'm saying? Do you believe anything I'm saying? You don't have to. All I'm telling you, if you accept some of it and try to work it out in your own world, in your own reality, you'll start seeing the truth. If you're willing to accept it. Does your mother love you? Does your father love you? They say they do. You know how much abuse they give their children in a lifetime? How much abuse do you give them back? That's not love. All right. Abuse is not part of love. Oh, well, you have to learn the hard. Hard what? Hard knocks of life? No, you don't. That doesn't help you become more spiritually aware. And I'm only doing this course to help you become more spiritually aware, increasing your awareness of truth, not of lies, not of stories, not of planet hell. Anybody could go here, live here, do the things that you think you can have to do and learn. You don't learn nothing about God here. You don't learn nothing about the inner worlds here unless you leave it. How do you leave it? Astral projection is the starting point, but learning to do soul travel is the next answer to it. But how do you become that? Who teaches that? How many people do? There's only 2 known religions out of 2,000 and more that actually teach about that specific teaching. But it's still limited by their programs that are involved with it. One's called Ekankar, and the other one's called Shab Yoga. And you could go further back, and the whirling dervishes did their own technique as well. Ways to get in touch with spirit, self, and inner awareness, not the outer awareness. All right. You know, people hate to be told anything. Oh, I know that. I read it. I believe this. I believe that. But they'll listen to a scientist say, well, don't drink water. It's really bad for you. I know you were told to drink lots of water, but it's dangerous. Well, truthfully, a dog, I just heard the story yesterday. A dog died. It was out in the hot weather, and the parent was feeding him this big bucket of water, and the dog just kept slurping it down. The dog died later of water overflow in its body. It actually drowned. You know, people say you can't die of this, you can't die of that. You could die of overeating anything, any substance. But again, what are we talking about here? We're talking about love. Do you love life? Why? Do you love the idea of eating? Do you love the idea of smoking? Do you love the idea of doing drugs? Of course you do. Many people love all the things. You love football, you love baseball, you love hockey. Why? What does it do for you? Stimulate you. Well, the human mind is based on 5 senses of the brain. Love is not a sense. Love is a thing. And the brain can only go by senses, taste, smell, touch, feeling, emotion, things like that. And that's how it's affected. So when you stimulate a part of the body, the mind relates that to something. And usually they relate it to a word, love. Do you think sex has anything to do with love at any real level? You know, when you make love and you leave your body and you experience an out-of-body experience, then it could be something totally different. Now, when they say Kundalini, and when you work with a person and you raise your energy level to probably the highest sexual level you can attain, is that love? They believe it is. Kama Sutra, all those words that lead to sex, to higher level, to the experience of love. Well, love is in existence within that from maybe the moment. I don't care if you could have love for 24 hours. And after it's over, is the same love there? People put love on everything. and make it important to themselves, to the reality, to their family, to their children, to whatever. Oh, I love football. Let's all go out to watch a game. Why? Most parents force things on their children. A father usually more pushing on that than the mother is, but father believes a boy has to be into sports. And now they're really starting to push their girls into sports as well. Singing, dance, and all the other words that are creative are being used, but not being forced upon as much as sports are. Being powerful, being strong, being all these words that make you feel better than somebody else. Sad thing. And even they're trying to do that to dance. Well, this person's a better dancer. No, dancing is different between every single person. They each have their own experience that give out and expand upon your awareness. They touch energy in a different way. Everybody touches it differently. Well, they do a high kick, they do a side kick, they do this, they do that. It's putting it down. Dance is freedom. Freedom to express energy. And one is not better than the other. Ever. People have destroyed the concept of truth at every level. And definitely with the word love. Pushing ideas on people. What love is. Oh, I love this. But what has to be done when you love somebody? Really? What? Giving of yourself completely is what love is about. How many people are willing to give 100%? Now, but that only works if both parties give 100%. Because if you give 100%, if the other person's not giving 100% back, you're going to be used. Fact, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. It has to be equally 100%. Or they say, well, no, if a relationship's usually 60-40. It usually is. Usually doesn't work right. Usually isn't in balance. And usually doesn't last. Where are you going with love, people? What do you want to know about love? The truth? We'll get to it. And we haven't touched it yet. Why? Because there's all these other things that stop you from getting there. All right. Before I get to there, I'm going to just say two more things about love. The new change in reality with the world, the UFO world opening up and demons and entities coming into the world, love is going to have a really different place. If aliens come down and make people feel good for a while, they'll start loving them. People already, a person's named Stephen Greer, who's trying to create the Disclosure Project, is saying there's no bad aliens, that we should learn to talk to them. They have been here for how many thousands and thousands of years and never helped mankind move forward in any way. And suddenly they're good, and they're all good, and they can help us. He's trying to start a new project on going against our government. Even though I truly believe the government's helping him move along. Because he said he was offered $2 billion to shut up. In the real world, anybody who offers you $2 billion must be out of their bird. Because they could take you out of life within $1,000 or $1 million, never mind billions of dollars. I know 15 people directly taken out of the UFO world, different ways, or removed completely, and it didn't cost $100,000 or $1 million. All right, when somebody's against the government in any way, what do you think people in FEMA do? What do you think people in the CIA, FBI all get involved with? What happens when they find somebody? How do they protect them and all those kind of words and things like that? It's all twisted lies. Because you're not going to be beneficially useful if you have bad things to say about something. What you might call good things. Well, UFOs are real. They're helping, and they're not helping. And the newest thing in that, taking us so far away from the idea of loving an alien, is making people believe it. And that's called people that come out saying their experiences. Meaning they met with aliens and it was a great experience and they showed them and taught them. And what? There's not one beneficial thing that ever came out yet Tesla worked with alien races and came out with the most deadliest weapons on the planet. Is there any love there? If you create time travel, which they did, which will destroy the planet in time, is it coming from love? Of course not. Do aliens know any better? Of course not. If they loved the human race, they would help the human race. But they don't, and they don't understand us. So the idea of loving aliens? Now, another word that I came to understand through my own experience is the word deities. They're in the lower worlds, the astral mental planes, but they help people at some level on certain things. Shiva, Durga, Kali, Green Tara, people like names like that. All right. And you can work with them. They're not just pictures, they're not just statues, they're real entities. They're not just your higher self. Many so-called religious people believe that. You are not anything other than yourself, meaning one soul, alive and well, for eternity, dwelling in hell most of the time, because you're not ready to move forward. You never want to be because you're attached to family and things, and that's where your love stays. Again, what family do you want to stay with? The one that lives in hell? Or how about a family that's rose above it? Now, if a family member died, like your past life, your wife died, and she moved on, not back in reincarnation, she moved to the higher realm, the next higher realm. Wouldn't it be more beneficial to meet with her in that realm? You slowly lose your agenda, all right, but it's still there at some level. So wouldn't it be a more practical idea to try to get further down the road than sticking on this part and suffering, watching suffering? No, mankind doesn't. It's so programmed. And the more programs that are coming out today make me sick. Stephen Greer is trying to reprogram the world to believe aliens are good and they're going to help us. I tell everybody to watch the movie V, the series, not the first one, the second one that was on a TV series for I think about 6 months. Watch it. Watch how these aliens come, program the human race that they're here to help us. They start making us believe it, and they start helping us for one reason, so that the queen alien could grow her eggs and hatch them. So, and there's eggs involved as well. But again, people, what do you want to believe? That love's important? Well, prove it to yourself. Make it important. How do you do that? All right? We talked about the things that make you understand or think you understand love. But now, let's start with the only important thing. The word God. What is God? Really? And what is it not? It's not the program ideas you believe it is. I'll name any one of them and I'll tell you that's not what God is. God is much more than anything you could perceive at every level. Well, then people say, well, God doesn't care. God cares about soul. That's why it's eternal. But it doesn't care how long it takes you to reach a state of awareness, which is why it put you here in the first place. Hell is a starting point. Once you get out of hell, you start moving forward. But as long as you stay here, you can't. You're in hell. How could I say that? It's the only place soul is in a body where it can die. The astral plane soul can't die. All the other realms it can't die. But in this realm, it takes a body, and the body dies. And it's got to come back to another body until it becomes aware that it doesn't need the body. This body, the physical body. You got your astral body, you got your mental body, you got your soul body. And your soul body is the most important thing because that's your ultimate goal and what you truly are when you attain your total awareness of who and what you are. But it takes a super long time to attain that. Are you ready? I doubt it. I mean, I look at the numbers that come on my shelf. Very few people do. Am I crying, complaining? No. Most people aren't ready. I mean, I'll put this up. People hit it here and there and they'll listen to parts of it. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. They don't like the truth. They want to believe the programmed ideas. Well, no, my minister, my pope, the rabbi, this person said that, and this book said this. Really? If I wrote a book, you're all doomed to hell, would you believe it? No. Oh, I'm not in hell. I'm not going to go to hell. Really? The Pope says there's no such thing as hell. Why? Because he's living in it. And he can't get out of it. And he won't. And I put my life on the line saying that because he's so evil right now, what he's doing to their own religion. No hell. Adam and Eve was a fake story, which it was. He's trying to rewrite the Ten Commandments. Why? Because he can't live by them. You know what goes on in the priesthood and all those kinds of things. You know how bad it is. A religion that tears apart itself is not a religion. It's an evil cult. If it can't move forward, it's not beneficial. You think God doesn't change? God created dinosaurs. I realize it's not what it wanted. It created other forms of life, which it allowed. And then it created humans and aliens. We're aliens. We would call ourselves human, but we're just a race from some other place. And the black race, the white race, the yellow race are separate. They're not the same. When somebody says the DNA is the same and we all came from the black people, it's another big lie. The Hopi people have DNA that no other people have. So are they a totally different race? Of course they are. We all came from different places, people. Just because we breed and have sex and make ourselves equal, become part of each other, and we accept that, that's fine. But that's not what we truly are. We're becoming a truly mixed breed. In a native nation, you're either a full blood or a half blood, or no blood, meaning half means one of your parents are full native. Full native, not partial. But see, they're losing that because there's very few people left. So when we talk about love, do we love people? How can you kill any one person, any soul, and children? How can you? How can you allow it? Sick entities, demons, are working inside your consciousness, whether you accept it or not. If you believe killing in any reason is okay, you're already perverted and twisted. And accepting Satan, demons, alien programming, whatever. In the Ten Commandments, which are the most important laws that mankind should live by, I mean, they should be readjusted a little bit because Moses couldn't write them out and he didn't even follow them. But if you do, honor thy father and mother. Well, they have to honor you the same. Have no other God before you. People don't care about what God's before them as long as they think they have one above them, or many, because they don't know what God is, or what it can do, or anything about it. God loves you. Why? God protects you. How? Not in the physical body, people. God loves your soul, which it's the closest to what it is. Not the body. The body is not even vaguely closely at any aspect of what God is. God can't be destroyed. God can't be burnt, chopped up, or any of those words. But your body can. So it's not even close. Jesus in his body had a body. He never said he was God. Ever. I was there, whether you want to believe that or not. I was a female in that lifetime. Mary Magdalene was my closest friend. You want the truth about Jesus, do you? No, you don't. You want the programmed stories of the Gospels and what they said. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Do you know anything about who and what they were? Only 2 of them were his disciples. The other 2 were evangelists, and they plagiarized what the other 2 said. One followed Peter and the other one followed Paul. And if you know anything about Paul, Paul never met Jesus in a physical body. He met with him in a vision. All right, you want the truth. No, you don't. You don't even want to read the Bible from one side to the other. John wrote Revelations. Read what he says about sin. If you're a Christian and you believe what you think you believe in, read what you can't be forgiven for. When you go to your priest or rabbi, if you go to your priest and you ask for forgiveness and do your Hail Marys or whatever you think you're going to do, you can't be forgiven for certain things, which is just about everything. That's why it replaces the word karma. They don't want to deal with it. Think you can get rid of karma by praying over it. No, you can't. You kill somebody, you can pray all you want. That karma is going to stay with you till you die, and then when you reincarnate, you're going to have to pay that karma back. And it might take many more lifetimes if you start moving forward. If you don't, you'll stay here forever. Because if you allow yourself to believe killing is okay, you're never going to move forward. You think the angels couldn't take anybody out when they wanted to? They know when a person's going to be a killer. They know, all this is real, people. Soul knows what it's going to do, whether you look into it or understand it. Psychics can read soul's energy, and most people could if they wanted to. Reading a person's aura is not evil. It's understanding the other person. But, you have to look into a person's eyes. And most people don't allow that in any great way. And the native people believe you're going to steal their soul when you do that. So this idea of love, how is it formed? How does it get created? Touch, feeling, motion, smell. All those things affect the way you become in love with somebody or something. When you go to a tree or a flower, it smells so good. I love the smell of it. Love is used on everything. What's love really mean? Nothing without God. Nothing at all. It means a programmed idea about a programmed thing. And you can't understand God until you start growing in awareness and learning about the worlds that are created for you. Because God does love you, but not here in your body doing the stuff you do. What do you do for God? I do everything in the name of God. Do you? Do you know what God wants you to do daily? Go out and sell liquor to people? Go out and drink? Do drugs? Play football? What do you think God wants you to do? Every boxer and most people when they go out to sports, dear God, let me win. Let me beat this guy up. Let me what? Do you think God really cares about what you do that way? Not while you're in hell. That's why children get killed. That's why children get raped. That's why children get hurt. Because nobody cares. Nobody understands where God comes from. They think about their own ego and say things are okay, and it's not. People, we're here a very short time in this lifetime. All right. And 125 years max is not enough time for anything. And then again, when you reach the old age mark, you're not growing very much at all. You're thinking what vitamins you got to take and what you got to do and all those kind of things. It's not making you better. You're not becoming more aware every day. And I've listened to all these high lamas, these high speakers that claim to be so spiritual and things. They don't talk about anything important, do they? They make you believe you're so important. You're not. The story is you're just one grain of sand on the sand of the whole planet, of all the oceans and everywhere else. Just one grain of sand. What do you think that grain of sand is going to do? Sure, there's people on planet Earth that change our reality in a way. And Tesla was one of the worst people to create what's happening to the planet. The greatest person to do that, I should say. But you talk about all these inventions. Inventions don't make people spiritual. Technology doesn't help people become spiritual. Scientists will never touch the word spiritual, ever. It's not pertainable to an unaware being. If you live in hell, you'll never understand it because you're so programmed on the idea of understanding this reality, which is hell. Learning how microbes and protons, neutrons, electrons work, magnetic field, and all those things have nothing to do with spiritual growth. Not one thing. Until you're ready to understand the word love, what it really means, where it comes from, you're stuck in a programmed idea of what you think it means. Now, I don't want to go too long, but I want to go into something that's going to blow your mind. I promise you something that should blow your mind completely. Is it directly relating to love? Well, it depends how you look at it. You all heard the word AI. If you don't know what it means, artificial intelligence. Does that relate to love in any way? No, it doesn't. But mankind's accepting it. Why? Because man is lazy. Man always wanted things to do things for themselves. But you have to realize the most important part of that, if it's doing what you're supposed to be doing, why does it need you? If the government has a robot that could do just about every job you do, why does it need you? The robot would work 24 hours, 7 days a week without complaining. You complain when you don't get your lunch break, your coffee break. Think about it, people. You're losing reality every day, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. It's growing. Musk came out and said artificial intelligence is so incredible. Today, it is, if you want to look at what it can do and what it is. But it is going to help mankind? Of course not. It'll slowly take away all the jobs on the planet. Then what? How many people do you think the world will need then? If robots can do the farming, growing, planting, working, basically everything online now is computerized. When you talk to a robot, you think you're talking to a person, no, you're not. All right. Now, here's the part that should blow you away. It blew me away. All right, artificial intelligence in a computer. Where do you think we got the word AI from? I don't think people know this, but our government has worked with it a long time ago. The technology of artificial intelligence. They're putting chips in the brain right now to make a human be able to actually link up with the internet. Right now, they're doing it. All right. Beyond that, artificial intelligence, when they try to work with it in its own state, and I'll tell you what they just released, whether you want to call it good or bad, it's bad. When they go into artificial intelligence and say, create a civilization with its own awareness, do you know what it creates? Think about it. What do you think it would create? An alien civilization. Look at what it draws and what it creates, what it looks like. Nothing that we could relate to. How could that be possible? Because it's alien technology, and you have to go back maybe 100,000 years when aliens were working with AI, and they created an energy and a force and all that, and implanted it in something. And now we're at the level we can implant that into, I guess you would say, a piece of plastic. Plastics are much more suitable than metal is for programming. But then if you take a crystal, it's much more advanced, but the human race has not learned to work with crystals very much at all. The medicine people do and go into crystals and stuff. They work with it a little, but really making it be a reality, like speaking. And I can go into a story about how they found a pyramid. They found these things, these crystals and things, and they spun them, and they could sing and create music and all that. But that wasn't released too much in the public world. I can't think of the right words, but it's real. We're in a change. And you think because they're going to raise the level of payment that you get for working? Really? Is that going to change reality? Reality is changing so fast around you. They want to stimulate your thinking by saying, oh, you're going to get a raise by the end of the year, and then you're going to get another raise next year. But is that going to make you realize that artificial intelligence is growing 10 times faster than you could possibly imagine? And when they got robots walking around in the hospital and things like that already, 90% of the new technology in operations and stuff is robots. What they can do, or the use of mechanical robots within the operation as well. We're moving so far away from the word love. Love what? Love the planet? Really? Love the government? Really? Love of what? Rats? Frogs? Toads? Bats? What do you love? Why? Mankind doesn't love anything, really. Fish? Cows? Calves? Pigs? Sheep? Well, we learned to eat them all, not because we wanted to, we were programmed to. When Atlantis was destroyed, aliens didn't want unconditional love ever, and they made sure that it didn't exist. Well, in Atlantis, guess what? We were able to do psychic thoughts and energy. We didn't have to talk. We could read and read each other and all those things. We didn't kill. We didn't eat animals. We didn't do a lot of bad things that we are doing now. But they didn't like that at all. Because they were advancing with AI, intelligence. And it took them this long to get it into reality. About 40,000 years to bring it into place on this planet. How many other universes where they have planets where they already have AI life? You want to believe that, understand that? When you see ships going through, I can watch 10 ships in an hour. Are they all one race? Of course not. They do different things. I mean, when we were filming real ships for a while, I was working with Sergeant 18, and he had a real expensive camera. I'm working with a $125 camera, and I can film ships every night, every morning when I go out, but not crystal clear. I can't get close up. I mean, I probably can, but they don't stay there long enough to focus in on them and zoom in on them. I don't have that kind of a camera. Anybody that wants to see the truth, help me. I'm not asking for money, but loan me a camera. Loan me a night vision glass, 3rd, 4th generation night vision glass, and I'll give you the pictures that will blow your brains away. But is that pertaining to love? I love people here while I'm here, but I see how sad it is. Mankind going backwards instead of forwards. Guns. Fighting over guns. Fighting over abortion. Two things are useless. Fighting over. We shouldn't have guns. And women should have every right to do whatever they want with their body. Their body, not anybody else's. Their own body. Take away their rights and make them go back to the horrible ways of abortion and things like that is ridiculous and sad and horrible. And Congress knows that. They're preparing for a riot because of they know what their decision is going to be. And it's not going to benefit the human race, meaning women. And now, love. Just think, 2,000 years ago, love didn't exist. Women were only sex objects. Only. And there to be the backbone of a man. But not for love. King and queens and all those kind of things. I mean, sexual abuse was there as well. Women were slaves, always. Sure, they were given the right to vote. How much later than the voting started? Why weren't they given it at the same time? Do you realize, women, that you abuse and then still are abused and don't even realize it? You're supporting a constitution that's very against the woman race, against Native people, against Black people, against everything that we are fighting for right now. And we think the Constitution's the right step to take? It is not. Think about the Constitution. Who created it? Think about those people. George Washington, in the beginning, gave the orders to kill tribes all the time. Sure, he might free one tribe and give them, let's not attack them, but he gave the orders to kill 2 other tribes. There were many tribes here, and they were all wiped out in great numbers. 50 million down to 750,000. That's a big number of depopulation. And it's not over. They surely want to eliminate the real aspect of a native nation. They actually bought out all the major chiefs across the United States, and in their own government system, which is based on our government now, they have to abide by our laws, and if they don't, they put the government puts their own people in place. I had all the names when I was fighting that, but the Native people didn't want to go that way. All right. I was dealing with people like Linda Moulton Howe, and I don't believe that. I said, she wants to come out to the nation. I said, why? You don't want to believe the truth. Why would they want to bring you out there? You're not going to accept what they say. And the Native people, how much do they know about the truth? They say they're dealing with aliens. Aliens never helped them. The star beings never saved the human race, the Native race. Were they around helping them? Bigfoot never helped them survive. And now they're saying, the help. They never got help, people. The stories passed down, how the Native truth, the pipe, and all the stories about that. Learn the story about the white buffalo, the pipe carriers, and things like that. How it came into existence and all that. Great stories. But if you want to believe in the ancient stories of let's see, I can't think of it, but the beings that existed in the very beginning that they tell stories about. I'm not talking about Atlantis. I'm talking about the beings. Like, I'm lost for words. Don't ask me why. But all the stories told about them, these high, powerful beings and all that. I'm not even talking about deities. Deities was a separate thing. All right, people. I really think you really need to pay to AI every day now. Understand what's happening. Understand what's going to happen. All right. And there's a lot more about it. I don't have the time to get into it because it doesn't really pertain to love, because it's nothing to do with love. It's everything against it. Love of people, you don't take away people's rights and things that they do to live and survive. You don't contaminate everything they eat, drink, and smoke and do. But we are in a sad place, people. The water is going to change. The air is going to change. Radiation is going to grow greatly. And there's a super giant nova ready to hit the planet. The government knows all about it. They're afraid to say when or where, how soon it can hit. But if it does, we are in trouble, people. And that's why these secret underground cities in the United States alone are growing. Why? Do you hear about it? Do you see anything about it? Why not? You don't hear about the real reasons of why the weather is changing. Is there any love involved with government and people? Any love anywhere involved with any of this? No. And you think love is important? To who? To people in love? For how long? All right, people. Today was love and God. I hope you got something out of it. If you listened to the whole show, which you probably didn't, if you made it to the end, I give you a kudos for making it to the end, because most people don't like the truth at any level. If you did like it, send it to your friends. If you think they care about love or understand love at any level. Please, you got any comments, anything to say to me, email me, hawksblood1@aol.com. Skype me on hawksblood11. Please, people, this is only a warning. The time is coming. The change is coming. And love's not going to be around too much longer. Sorry, people. Sorry to give you the truth, but all I can do is give you the truth. So with that, peace, love, compassion, whatever you think you need in your life, hope you get it. Don't stop until you do. And then when you do get it, make sure it's what you really need and want. All right. You heard it here first, second, third, and fourth, and fifth. But I give my life to the truth.